Hi, I'm Lisa Greer,
And I'm Neil Greer.
and this is the Special Fam Podcast, Series 1. Episode 1, the We Meet series.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about how we met and all the fun things that go along with it and how we eventually started dating.
That's right. Goes back how many years? It's been like 30.
It's been like 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Time flies. 4 kids later, and here we are. And so on this podcast today, we just want to dive deep into like how we met.
Yeah, and I think the first thing we need to say is Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Oh, yeah. Happy Valentine's. Happy Valentine's.
Yeah, and you're dressed very celebratory. You look great.
I got my pink on.
Yes.
Pink jacket. Thank you. And you're looking dapper yourself.
Thank you. And I suppose if you want, I can talk a little bit about the initial moments and how we met.
Yeah. Let's share a little bit about our relationship and how it all started back at University of San Diego, or USD here in San Diego.
Yeah. So there's a housing area down below USD, which at least, when we were students, they, affectionately called the dog patch.
That's right. There was a police station there, and the dogs would go off at night barking, and we would hear them, and that's why they call it the dog patch. So, but it was a great place to live because it was literally right across the street from the USD, and we could literally walk to class every morning. So It was a great place to get an apartment with some other roommates, and that's what we did.
Yeah, and I was already a resident down there, and, I was just coming back off an ocean fishing trip with a couple of my buddies. I had already graduated school in 1992. And I was sitting there in my fishing vest on the driveway there. It was, never forget it, Saturday morning, and super sunny that day. Not a cloud in the sky. Classic San Diego. You feel the light breeze in your, nose. That beautiful ocean air.
Yeah, I was looking for a new place to stay there on Loretta Street across from USD, and we found this place. We thought, my roommate and I. And turns out it wasn't that great after all. The first night there, we realized that it was kind of infested with cockroaches. When we got up in the night, we're like, it was so crazy. And we're like, we have to get out of here. So we went on this mission, like, we got to move out. We cancel this contract, find a new place. So we're like walking down the street going, where are we going to stay? We got to find a new apartment. And we look over across the street and we see this for rent sign on this other nice apartment complex. And I said, why don't we check that out? And then you came walking down from your fishing trip.
Yeah, it was an interesting moment in my life. I was literally just obsessed with cleaning off every piece of the gear because when you fish in the ocean, like the salt water can get into all your gear.
Salty dog.
Yeah. And I was in my beard and fishing vest phase.
You were. Yeah.
So,
and I was like, no, we're going to find a place to stay. Who's this guy? Maybe he can help. And my roommate and I, Stephanie and I, were like, well, let's ask this guy. Maybe he knows some information about other places to stay in the neighborhood. Look like a local.
Yeah.
And then,
well, all I knew was I was obsessed with my gear, and I, kind of like down on my hands and knees doing stuff. And I look up, and you pull up in that white Nissan Sentra.
Snowball, my little Nissan Sentra, yeah. And we got out of the car and we looked and checked it out. And we're
Right,
like,
but if I zero in on that moment,
oh yeah,
the whole getting out of the car moment, from my vantage point, all right, I looked up, and I went from I need to clean this gear to be perfection to I need to go and talk to this person.
Well,
that person being you.
You had the information we needed. We were like, you know what? I think he knows. And you said you lived here, right? And you're like, how did it go?
Yeah, well, you're kind. I mean, I as a college guy, I wasn't quite that eloquent. I mean, I got up and I made a beeline for you guys, but really wasn't talking to Stephanie. I just walked right up to you because you're tall. I'm tall. I walked up and said, hey, we just had, a couple of people move out of this apartment complex that we used to hang out with all the time. Yeah. And, looks like you guys might be apartment shopping, and you guys should move in next to us so we can go out all the time.
Haha. Well, we considered that, got the name and number of your landlord, and yeah, it turns out, lucky you, lucky me, we found a place on the other. It had about 10 units, but it was really cool because our unit faced the street. I think yours was on the back side facing the other direction, so it was nice, healthy boundaries, but it was a nice little doorstep where I could actually play my guitar on the doorstep and see the people coming and going. And we were just so delighted because, oh my gosh, school was starting and we didn't have a place to live. So you saved the day and helped us find a place.
Right.
And then,
but
now we're neighbors at that point, right?
Well, but if you go back a little bit
friends.
in time and you zero in on that interaction, at least for me, I said that to you guys and you laughed. More like sort of like a guy experiences a, wow, that was audacious. And,
that's
but
right.
then then Stephanie
was her name. Yeah.
Stephanie kind of gave me a look like she was cutting me in half with a laser called her eyes.
Oh,
and I was and she didn't really say much. But you were talking, and then I said we ended the conversation. I kind of walked away, honestly, kicking myself a little bit, not for being bold, but I said, okay, was that the right thing to say?
Yeah, I was just so excited that we found a place to stay because I was like, we are in trouble. We had signed this rental agreement, so it all worked out, and I was excited. I met you. You're into fishing, and it turns out that you had just graduated. So you had insightful information about USD, and you're a football player. You had just finished your football Torero career, and that was interesting. I had learned, and so we were roommates, and we were just friends, like Friends episodes, just hanging out as neighbors.
Right. Well, but we didn't, we didn't see each other again. We didn't see each other then again for, 8-10 weeks. I didn't realize that you guys had moved in because I was working and traveling.
You started your first job.
Yeah, and then
doing the 8 to 5.
Right, and traveling. Right.
So I would where's Neil? And he'd be coming and going. 7:30 departure. And back at 5:30 or 6. And meanwhile, I was on the college campus. College hours, enjoying my study schedule,
right.
my SoCal San Diego school schedule. It was the best.
Yeah, and day number 2 that I'll never forget after, looking up and meeting you, the day number 2 was when I was just on an ordinary day coming back from the office, but had on my suit and tie, and I turn around and I'm heading towards the apartment, and I see you on your doorstep and you're playing guitar, and you clearly had been, just, at the beach and stuff. And that's when I was walking towards you, still feeling a little sheepish about,
what you had said. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's Neil.
So,
wait, I didn't even know did I know your name? I think I did.
Yeah,
you had mentioned.
I wasn't sure if,
hey
I wasn't sure if you were going to recall. So I sort of made a beeline for the side of the building.
Oh yeah. You went around the back side. Yeah. Cause your door, your steps were up the back. Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of my foundational moments of boldness where I just said, I'm getting out of here before this actually turns into her realizing it's me. And I started to make my way around the building, and you looked from the side. You let me sort of try to sneak away. And then you, with your guitar, you turned to me and said, hey, Neil.
Hey, Neil.
And
I'm playing, I don't even know. Yeah, just catching that sunset hour on the guitar.
Right.
And then.
Yeah, and then, so I was busted.
You were busted.
And then, but then I realized, okay, well, we turned around. You said, "Do you want something to drink? You want some water or whatever?"
That's all I had to offer. I had water.
Right, college muffins
college
and water.
Yep. Well, that's because we had pastries to offer because my roommate Kathy worked at one of the apartment complexes, and so every Sunday they would send her home with all the leftover, continental breakfast muffins, and croissants, and that's what we ate off of starving students, but.
Right,
yeah,
and you remember
those were
that
good old days.
Yeah, and you remember that. Well, you remember that restaurant down the street, Tio Leo's, where they
Still
had
there.
they had the
They
free
have live music.
yeah, they had the free buffet for
We
USD
love
students.
Tio Leo's.
Right.
Shout out to Tio Leo's and
So,
their happy hours too. I don't think I was quite 21 yet though, right? Or you
No,
were, but I wasn't.
But I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that I ate half of my meals at the Tio Leo's.
We love Tio Leo's. And then
was-
the other Sardina's, the Italian restaurant too, just down the road. That was our other favorite little
Yeah.
Italian hangout.
But you know what I think is so remarkable about how we met is that, then we realized, okay, we're neighbors. Okay.
We're neighbors. It's Friends episodes,
Right.
It's, yeah.
So then obviously neighbors don't date.
We're neighbors. We're just hanging out.
Right. So then we just started to hang out all the
We're
time.
just hanging out, having fun.
And I
Yeah.
was kind of going around. So
We're buddies.
in my early 20s guy mind, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I mean, we're hanging out, like it's not really like it's just sort of hanging out. And,
Yeah.
and we did that for, a good 4 months.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, like, I think the way I think we went on like a first date wasn't like my business fraternity, a KSI or something, had like some kind of boat outing or a sunset cruise. And we get to bring
Right.
a +1. So I think I was like, hey, how did
Yeah.
I say it? I don't even remember what I said.
This is where I don't think you can underestimate, how hollow a brain can be sometimes when you're just in your zone. You don't sometimes you don't pick up people's social cues.
Oh.
And especially, I can't speak for everybody, but like this early 20s guy was like, I was in my zone. Okay. So it's when we had been hanging out and you said to me, hey, well, we should maybe go do this thing, that I realized, okay, have I just been totally missing that she might be interested?
Well, I did need a +1 for the
Right.
boat cruise. And, it's Mission Bay and it's like my happy place, and it's always fun to bring somebody along, and some of my girlfriends, they were all, I think they had plans. So I was like, well, this could be a good opportunity to reach out to one of my friends in the neighborhood.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of how it all
Right.
came to fruition,
Right. So how could I possibly?
hangout outing.
It was just a hangout.
It was a hangout. It was a boat cruise
not a
with the
date.
business fraternity. It was
How could
so
I
much
possibly?
fun.
How could I possibly have been so
So every time I
knucklehead?
see like the hornblower Mission Bay, I'm like, yep, that's where we had our first date.
Yeah.
On the hornblower, or I don't know if that was the company. They're amazing.
Well,
but
they do the little bake the little bay turnarounds. And,
yeah, the Bell or whatever the name of that little boat is that goes around Mission Bay. It's
Yeah,
so
but
fun.
everyone
Sunset.
these days is always wanting to try to okay, what's the takeaway? Well, I don't even know if there's a takeaway, but I can tell you the takeaway from thinking through that is that it frightens me how much I didn't pick up on the cues you were throwing.
Which you made a great comeback, I'd have to say. Speaking of comebacks from our last episode, and you did have the cash, you saved up for another outing after that on our boat cruise, didn't you? I'm trying to think of like the order of things.
Well, the reality was that on the business fraternity boat outing.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Sunset cruise.
Yeah, it was amazing, and
I love sunset cruises.
everybody was up there. Yeah, that is nice.
It's like Freedom Boat Club. We love going out on the bay, just taking a boat out at sunset.
Yeah, everybody was missing, the fact that on top of the boat, like what wasn't lost on me was the boat top and
The
dancing.
rooftop.
Yeah, so we just started dancing, and it didn't occur it was right when we just kind of felt natural dancing
And this
together.
is a big boat. It's not
No.
a pontoon
No.
thing or your upper level like that we've taken out with our kids.
Right.
I mean, this holds a good 100 people, right? And there was dinner served inside, and then the rooftop.
Right.
Like it's one of those. What do you call those kind of boats that, it's got the spinning wheel on the back.
Riverboat, yeah.
Riverboat, yeah, is that it? Yeah. So,
Riverboat.
but that was special. We love Mission Bay, so that's special. It's important to have places where you celebrate. As we're celebrating Valentine's.
Oh yeah, and
And
happy
Mission Bay.
Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's,
That's right.
30, love
That's
you. We
right.
need like our secret, come up with a new handshake,
Something.
something.
The fist bump is tried.
It's got to
and
go
true.
deeper, right? It's like
It's gotta go-
got to come up with your own private fist bump, for when you're dating. It's a
But
great
when-
idea.
Right. But when we were sitting
onto
there,
something.
when we were sitting there dancing, that's
on
when
the rooftop at Sunset Mission Bay.
But
and
I knew
it was
a lot
like
of
7 o'clock. Yeah, I'm picturing it.
I knew a lot. I knew a lot of my friends there, and I knew their girlfriends.
Oh
and
yeah, we had some overlap. Yep, we
again,
did.
this is another one of my top 3 duh moments in
Oh
life.
yeah.
Duh.
Yeah,
like
so you're
maybe
hanging out and you're like, hey. And they were giving you 411.
Well, if you remember, we just hung out like
We were neighbors. We're
right.
just neighbors hanging out.
Right. So we had gotten to know each other so well as neighbors because the taboo of, and maybe this was why I wasn't making a move early, but like, you don't date your neighbor.
There's neighbor etiquette. I have to say, at the end of the day, where we live too, just in our neighborhoods, you've got to maintain your peace and boundaries with your neighbors. You've got to get along, right? We must get along.
Right. Don't hit on the guitarist on floor 1.
Keep it classy.
That's what I was thinking.
Healthy boundaries.
Right. It's not that I didn't want to hit on.
Well, yeah, but there is something to be said, for just keep it real, keep it classy, and don't date the neighbor.
Right. But then we dated each other anyway because basically on that boat ride it occurred to me that we were already kind of tight.
Kind of. Yeah, it was like we're inching. It's like, the whole dating thing, it's baby steps, right? Of intimacy.
And maybe there is a takeaway there.
Yeah, what is it?
Maybe inching is okay.
Inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yep. By the yard, it's hard. I always like to remember that.
But think about our friend Jenna. When we got off the boat, there was an after party.
Oh.
So there we are in Mission Beach, and
party.
a bunch of students packed into a room and
a house, a condo, apartment complex somewhere.
And I'm just. It was right there on the bay side.
Oh,
and
that was a nice place. Now I remember it. Yeah, that was fancy.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching you walk around, talking to friends, and my friend Jenna,
college party, yeah,
who's Jenna Amadeo,
and she was a senior, right?
My class.
Oh, your class.
She walks up to me, and she, in classic Boston fashion, she hits me in the back of the arm, and she goes, "Are you an idiot? You're not asking her out."
Wow.
She's asking about you.
That's so Boston.
Yeah.
Rob, like Survivor.
She's asking about you. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, that's
again,
very bold girl.
Realization moment.
Uh-huh.
So like right then and there, as the party was winding down, I asked you, I said, "Hey, are you interested in going on a coastal drive?"
Ooh, I'm open.
Open.
Let's see what you got.
I got nothing up my
What kind of
sleeve.
car you got? No.
I got nothing up my sleeve. Well, I had a black truck.
Oh, yeah, that black truck.
It was legit.
Yes, it was.
That car was tight. So then we're heading up the coast. And
Del
then,
Mar.
then I start thinking,
I love Del Mar.
Okay, now I might make a move. So then I'm starting to think about my move, and now I'm thinking about the thinking of the move.
Uh-oh, you're thinking too much.
I'm
like,
overthinking.
What are we doing? Is this a date?
What are we doing?
This is a date.
This guy's trapped me in his truck, and we're heading on the coast.
Okay.
That can't be
No, you didn't trap me.
No,
I
of
didn't
course
feel
not.
trapped.
good. No,
I would have
I'm
just gotten out. Take me to the plaza.
yeah, right. So
Then we didn't have Uber then. Couldn't really
No.
get away.
so we
I
went
could have. Yes, I could have.
up through Del Mar,
My happy place. Our happy place. I love Del Mar.
and then 11th Street, which is a great place.
Yeah.
And we just turned. It was like a starry night, and we rolled up to the coast.
It's always a good thing when you don't know what to do. Just drive to the coast. Drive
Right.
to the coast. We do that. It's still a tradition for us. It's a
Right.
celebration for us.
And I drove right up to the water's line,
Yeah, we did that during COVID all the time too. with the
as if I
kids.
wasn't telegraphing myself.
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
But then we just sat there for a while because, again, I had caught myself in a total overthink.
You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
I'm
now
like,
what
I don't
do I
know.
do?
This is fun. I didn't. Did I have a car? Oh, I had a little Nissan Sentra by then.
Yeah. So
Oh.
it had been about 5 or 10 minutes. I'll never forget what you said. You leaned to me and you looked me right in the eye and you said, "Neil, I don't bite."
Oh, I said that.
And so then I said, "Yeah, you don't." And then so we, started kissing, and then, now that's when, we were now neighbors, also dating.
Kind of, Nate. Well, I don't know if we advertised it.
No, it was kind of stealth for a little
It
bit.
was stealthy. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely stealthy. Well, you
Couple-
had to get you're getting your first job. You're getting all settled in at your new job within the insurance industry, and and
Yeah.
I was finishing my senior year, like senior year.
Right.
Come on, man, no settling down yet. I got
Well,
senior year.
Well, no, that's an interesting thing that
Gotta
you
go big, baby. Finish strong.
well you bring that up. It's an interesting thing, which is that we had the double taboo, which is the whole you're still in school thing and we're neighbors thing.
Yeah. It's gotta be. That's touchy. That's delicate.
Right, which
Taylor
really
Swift would say, delicate.
acted as attracting forces.
Yeah, and you just roll with it, and that's why we tell our kids, just don't rush it. Don't rush it. It's just, you're building the vibe, you're building your culture, you're building your foundation, you're building. Could this work? Is this the one? And don't jump into conclusions, right? And so we dated for quite a while.
Well, and that's what we're going to talk about in episode 2 of We Meet.
Oh yeah.
Where we go into what our initial first date was.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to tell you about that.
Dinner
and
date.
I think one of the most fantastic things about
And you paid.
I did, which was not not a small feat.
Well, it's nice to be treated, on a first date.
Right.
We could debate that all day long. What's your take? On the first date, does the guy pay? Things change. It just depends. Seasons change. Post Malone.
Right. Well, I guess you had done the invite to the boat thing, so it was my turn.
I put it out there. There it was. I hit the ball.
Right.
Pickleball back to you. Your turn.
Only a knucklehead could have missed that one.
No, we don't know using the word no knucklehead. We're not using that term. No politics here.
So
So
if you want, I can wind up, this episode and give a little preview. Wind down
or
thing.
up.
Yeah,
Which way?
exactly. So in our next episode, we're going to talk about our first initial date and how our relationship started to flourish.
You like music
and
playing.
how we became a steady couple. And I just have to say that right now 5 minutes every single minute that I get to spend with you is
Aww.
a minute that is a great thing. And what we're trying to bring to you guys is excitement and passion for having a relationship and for building it into a family, whether that's a business family or whether it's a dating or whether it's siblings or whatever
Your tribe,
what you
whatever
have.
you want to call that, and for us, it's our family, our Team Greer family of 6 with our 4 kids. Robbie's 22 now, Megan is 20, Mandy's 16, and Joshy's 10. And 30 years, we need our secret handshake. We got to hands in.
Hands in.
It's we'll come up with one.
Yeah.
Get the feedback of the audience or
So
what you think.
Yeah. So I really look forward to talking with you about
Yeah.
our first date.
It's so important to remember. I look forward to diving deeper into that on our next episode.
100%. So we'll see you on episode 2 of Special Fam.
All right. See you on the next one.